Hi folks, recently DeepSeek has gained massive popularity, bringing a flood of AI jargons. You name it, RLHF, PEFT, fine-tuning, LoRa, Llama, GPT-4o, all the kind of jargons. On top of that, major players like OpenAI, Anthropic, NVIDIA, Google, Meta keep making headlines. But here's a real question. How do all those jargons and companies fit together? So today, we're going to answer this question. We're going to break it all down from ChatGPT to Silicon, tracing the entire LLM pipeline from consumer applications to the hardware infrastructure that powers them. Here's the overall pipeline. At the top, we have consumer applications, the stuff that you use daily. So we have ChatGPT and Cloud AI for chatting and querying. We also have Copilot helping productivity and Perplexity AI focusing on search. And usually development cost is not that big compared to latter layer. But then there comes the question of how do developers build these apps? This is where the application layer comes in handy. LangChain and LlamaIndex are like Lego blocks for AI apps. You also have RAGs that helps AI access real-time information and documents. You have vector databases for store and retrieve knowledge efficiently. You also have VLLM. This is to improve the inference. Overall, cost is a bit higher than just developing consumer applications. Going a bit deeper into the model layer, this is where the core LLM model sits. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Mistral build these models. If you hear about terms like RLHF, LoRa, those techniques are there to make the base model better. And training this model can cost millions of dollars. Finally, at the foundation, we have the infrastructure layer. NVIDIA and AMD provide the GPU hardware, but also Google has their own customized GPU called TPU. And companies like Grok optimize the AI specifically here for AI chips. It's worth noting that actually building these data centers is very costly. It can cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So right now, let's talk about the skill panel. What kind of skills are needed for each layer? For the consumer layer, mostly you're gonna use prompt engineering and UI UX. For the application layer, you might heard of the RAG, LangChain, VLLM, LlamaIndex. They're all there for application layer. It's worth noting that application layer is really more of an engineering problem and ranking problem. For the model layer, you might have heard of RLHF and fine-tuning, LoRa and PEFT. RLHF stands for reinforcement learning with human feedback. It's a way to do fine-tuning, and LoRa and PEFT are also ways to efficiently do fine-tuning due to LLM has a very big number of parameters. Actually, PEFT stands for parameter efficient fine-tuning. As we go deeper, we have the infrastructure layer. The skills needed here is GPU programming, to program GPU using CUDA. The scale of distributed system is very much needed here. So they are dealing with the problem of not only distributed system within a cluster, but distributed cluster across multiple data centers. These are all the skills needed for each layer. But then let's look at who's playing the game here. We have those full stack players, including OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, as well as Meta, I think. They are building from scratch, from infra layer all the way to consumer layer. That's why we call them full stack players. But also we have some application players who focus on these two layers. They are Perplexity, who's focusing on search. They are based on the GPT models. And also we have GitHub, who works on Copilot. And then there are companies who are specializing in certain component of the application layer, which are LangChain and LlamaIndex. For the models, since it's very costly to train, we mainly have Meta produce Llama. We also have Mistral model, and also we have Google LLM too, recently DeepSeek. As for the infrastructure, the top layer are of course NVIDIA and then AMD, but we also have like specialized players like Grok. They specialize in AI chips. The other thing I want to highlight is that if you go through one layer and one layer deeper, you realize that the development cost is increasing dramatically for each layer. The most expensive layer is of course infrastructure. Another thing to note is that if you're a developer, I think the best way to start with LLM is application layer. Because as you go deeper into each layer, the development cycle becomes longer. In my opinion, application deserves the most attention. In this video, we have covered the layers of LLM pipeline. Let me know what component deserves most attention. See you next time.